Before continuing, I just want to mention this quote from the Indologist Helmuth von Glasenapp, who recognized the Yoga Vasishta to be probably the greatest philosophical poetic work of all times. The greatest philosophical poetic work of all times. In which case, why is it not known by everybody? We have to be careful with this word philosophical, though. The Yoga Vasishta is not a philosophical work. It's a work which is being transmitted from the realized mind. Philosophy is about speculation, about sophistry, and clearly the Yoga Vasishta is not that. The Yoga Vasishta is not putting out ideas, it's not promoting ideas. The Yoga Vasishta is talking from the heart of experiencing. It's describing how things are, that's all. We don't have a category of literature like this in the West. We have works of religion, works of philosophy, but we don't have works which are descriptions from the heart of experiencing. And so we want to slot it in. We don't have this category, so we have to try and fit it into our own approximate, crude categories of religion or philosophy. And I think it's difficult for the Western mind to see beyond that. Clearly, the Yoga Vasishta arose within a particular philosophical and cultural context, and so at times it will use these terms. But that's just the clothing, and to mistake the clothing for the body is extremely unfortunate and rather short-sighted. So now we come to the proper conclusion of the Yoga Vasishta. Section 6.1 didn't really end properly, so now we have the proper ending, which ties in with the beginning of the Yoga Vasishta. One of the unique aspects of the Yoga Vasishta for me is the way it reflects the nature of conditioned reality. It's notion within notion within notion within notion, stories within stories within stories within stories. And that's what the Yoga Vasishta is. It wasn't actually a dialogue between Rama and Vasishta. Well, on one level it clearly was, but on another level it was actually a dialogue between Valmiki and Bharadvaja. Bharadvaja had told Valmiki's story of Rama to the creator god Brahma, and Brahma had asked Bharadvaja to go and get the rest of the story from Valmiki. And this is what Valmiki did. He gave Bharadvaja the story of Rama's enlightenment. Valmiki said, "O Bharadvaja, thus did Ram and others attain supreme knowledge and the state beyond sorrow. Even so acquire this attitude and live as a liberated sage free from doubt. Truly, by listening to this scripture you are already liberated. You are a jivanmukta." And this is one who's liberated, but carries on with their life instead of bringing it to a halt. Even a young boy listening to this attains self-knowledge. Even the ignorant ones in whose hearts the bondage caused by cravings is strong and persistent rise beyond this state of division by a study of this scripture that deals with liberation. Even as young boys become mature men, they will never again be involved in samsara. By immersing ourselves in this practice, the practice of inquiry as reflected in the Yoga Vasishta, we become established in liberation. Even they who recite this scripture without understanding the meaning, they who copy this in a book, they who make someone read it or comment upon it, they attain great merit and enjoy a life in heaven, and in the third birth attain liberation. Third birth. Let's assume that if you've read through the Yoga Vasishta, and perhaps you've even watched all these videos, or most of them, that this is your third birth. Now, Valmiki actually wasn't saying this to Bharadvaja. He was actually saying it to an ascetic king called Arishtanami. King Arishtanami had been guided to Valmiki by a messenger of the gods. The god Indra had been a little bit worried about the extent, the breathtaking extent of King Arishtanami's austerities, because he could easily replace Indra as the king of the gods with such austerities. So Indra wanted to entice the sage to heaven, but the sage wasn't having it. So the messenger, Indra's messenger, took him to Valmiki, and Valmiki got him enlightened. Valmiki said to King Arishtanami, "Thus have I told you what Vasishta taught Rama. By this path you will attain the truth." The king said, "Lord, by your grace I have crossed this samsara." To the messenger of the gods the king said, "You have been a true friend to me. You may now go. I shall contemplate the truth that I have thus heard." Now the messenger was actually telling this story to a celestial nymph called Suruchi. The messenger said to the celestial, "I was supremely thrilled to hear all this. I shall now go to the abode of Indra." The celestial said, this will be Suruchi, "I am truly blessed to hear all this from you, O messenger of the gods. Now you can go to Indra." Now this story of the celestial Suruchi was being told by the sage Agnavesha to his son Karunya. Agnavesha said to Karunya, "Thus did the celestial remain immersed in contemplation. Have you heard all this well?" Karunya replied, "Surely, my delusion is gone. I shall now live a life of spontaneous, non-volitional activity." And layers within layers, the story of Agnavesha and Karunya actually arose within a dialogue between the two sages, Agastya and Sutikshna. Although here Agastya's written as Agasti. Agasti said to Sutikshna, "Thus did Agnavesha instruct his son Karunya. Do not doubt this teaching, for he who doubts this perishes." Doubt is good. Intellectual doubt is good. But we mustn't doubt the realization. There are so many ways this realization could be dismissed. But when we rest in this realization, when we challenge it, when we confront it, it's inviolable. And so we mustn't actually doubt the realization, otherwise we perish. Sutikshna said, "My ignorance has been dispelled and the lamp of knowledge has been kindled. I realize that all these objects of the world exist in the infinite consciousness like waves in the ocean. Hence I shall live a life of spontaneous non-volitional activity. I am truly blessed. I salute you. For a disciple should adore and serve his guru by thought, word and deed. Lord, by your grace I have crossed this ocean of samsara. I salute the Supreme Being, contemplating whom one realizes that all this is indeed Brahman, the infinite consciousness. Salutations to the divine preceptor Vasishta." Om Tat Sat.